Yes, blessed love family, here we are once again. Welcome to Afua Speaks and Community Conversations, people. I see, yes, blessed love Lioness Keats, much appreciated. And all the other moderators that are in the chat tonight. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Brothers and sisters, look, we've got two presentations tonight. Sister Lorraine is going to come back on and share with us, hopefully. I did say last week, blessed love all about the black. I did say last week that this woman's story could not be told in one sitting. It cannot be told in one sitting. So she's going to come back on and just kind of, we're not going 3 hours again. That can't work tonight for me, definitely. But she's going to come on briefly, and then we're going to hear from another sister who's going to tell us about her experience at the hands of that very awful looking monster that we put up on Instagram this week. I mean, yeah, we'll get into that anyway. But first of all, brothers and sisters, I have to tell you about the 24 hours that I've had. Very quickly, my daughters went off on holiday. They were held up 24 hours round trip all over the bloody world. They sent them here, they sent them there, they lost their luggage. It was a nightmare. Their phones were dying because there was no way of charging them. And it was a nightmare. Thankfully, they're at their destination now. They're having a great time. They've managed to buy some extra clothes and stuff like that. Thankfully, I'm old school. So with the little one, I packed her hand luggage with extra bits. So she was kind of cool. She had everything she needed. Her sister had to kind of put on some of her stuff, even though they're like 22 years old and 11. The 22-year-old is very slim. The 11-year-old is big for her age. And she's tall for her age and stuff. So she's already going into kind of women-y sizes, and they were able to kind of mix and match and all the rest of it. But when I tell you, brothers and sisters, how my heart was in my mouth, can you imagine your two little girls, 22 and 11 years old, on the other side of the world? You don't know what's happening. They've dropped them off at 3 o'clock in the bloody morning at the destination. This is how it ended up. It's such a long story, I can't even go into it. But my heart was in my mouth. It really, really was. And then on top of that, let's put those two girls to one side. My big daughter she gave someone a job in her company as a driver. And this man bright up himself on the child, wanting to send her WhatsApp pictures of her own profile picture, lusting after her and telling her that she wants her. And it's a big, crusty old man, nearly 60. My daughter's 34 and married. It was just like a lot. I was just raging the last few days, like the levels. So I'm hoping now that I'm going to be able to calm down and just present and keep everything neat. I hope we don't get any fools coming on, because I would nyam off your face today. I've still not converted my energy. You know when you haven't come down, brothers and sisters? So anyone taking the mick today or any of the foolishness is not going to be tolerated at all tonight. You understand? So yeah, that's the day that I've had 24 hours, and I've literally had 1 hour sleep in that whole time, because there's no way myself and my older daughter, we were just on it all night, waiting for them to get on and do their thing and make sure they got to their destination safely. It's a crazy long story. By the grace of God, they're okay, and they're having a good time kicking back and doing their thing. So let me just see if Lorraine is available. She said she was going to be, but I don't know if she's here or she's seen my WhatsApp. So let me do that. Oh, hold on a second. If not, then we'll go straight on to that's cool, sister. That's in the waiting room. We've got our sister in the waiting room, which is great. If I'm depleted, brothers and sisters, forgive me. I've literally had 1 hour sleep. I still had to get up and do my thing, but I was up all night until these girls got to their destination on time. We were getting ready to board the flight, actually, myself and my daughter, because the batteries had died and we hadn't heard anything. And we said, like, right, if we haven't heard from them by X amount of time, we are going straight to the airport, and we were going to get on that flight and go and make sure that they're all right. That hasn't happened. Thankfully, they can do their thing, and it is what it is. Yeah, brilliant. So let me call sister, see what's happening. If not, we will go to the main presentation of the evening. I am so knackered, it's unbelievable. So please forgive me. I am depleted. I am not my usual bright and sprightly self. My eyes are blurry. I can hardly see the screen. And it's one of those ones tonight, brothers and sisters. It really, really is. You know, also good news on the His Time Is Up t-shirts. They're going to be launching next week. We'll be launching those. We're taking pre-orders because obviously we have to know how many people want them. They're pretty easy to turn around in terms of getting them out and stuff like that. So they'll get priced up and they'll be showcased next week, basically. Oh, the other thing before I forget, there's been somebody floating around called Honeybee, which I think I mentioned last week, who infiltrated the members live and was basically screen recording the whole thing and putting it out there as you can watch this for free. We've taken the channel down. It has been struck for copyright. Hopefully she won't try and do that again. If they do, we'll be going the same way. The Zawadi thing, because it is a thing, it's not a person, it's a machine talking. We've actually located what that machine is. We've located the app, the same Swahili voice. It's a Kenyan voice, apparently, which I knew it was, sort of thing. I've lived out in that part of the world. That one thinks it's clever because after I said we're going to take your channel down, they ran and snipped bits and made them shorter and put up copyright disclaimers and all the rest of it. So, do you know what? Do your thing. I have never looked at the channel until last week. And actually this week, I looked at the channel and I was shocked. I thought it was just 2 or 3 videos or whatever that people had sent me. When I look on this thing, it's been going on since June, these things. And every single video, they've been posting since 2020 or something like that, with obviously not much success. They've now decided to add my name to everything, make it all about me, even if it's a random video about, I don't know, anything, some hip hop star slapping someone. They've put my name on it, which is a clear strategy to try to get their videos at the top of the pile when you search Afua Rose. It's just pathetic. It's pathetic, you know, wanting to cover something that is not about me. This is what they need to understand. I've got a feeling I know who it is. Now, I'm not going to say the name so that they can have their way and try to take things down and do whatever it is they try to do. But if you lot remember that old drunken, dirty girl that came on and tried to play the victim card on a platform such as this, you lot remember her, don't you? Who had an issue with her identity and was accusing us of being colorist. It's the same rhetoric, the same style of talking and everything else. And from what I was told about the many people, we all know who she is. Don't put her name in the chats. All the regulars know who that person is. Let's just call her Weary Bussington. Weary Bussington. You all know what I'm talking about, right? Old Weary Bussington. Let's call her that. I reckon it's her. And I was told that she was good with technology and that she's a very vengeful, nasty piece of work. And these are from even her ex-partner. When she came on here and bright up herself, because nobody called her up here, and did what she did, and tried to indict us the next day with a dysfunctional character like Truth and Rights, of all people, yeah? Not only did she shame herself and outdo herself, but a barrage of DMs came in on me about people that knew her, telling me what dysfunctional behavior she's going on with. Nobody never done this woman anything, but I've got a feeling it's her as well. Yeah, your gut instinct sees you're correct on who it is. I believe it's that person. I really do. Truth and Rights, his stuff is so substandard. I think you would really know. It's so bait. It's unbelievable. But anyway, forget them. They're not getting much luck with it because I think she gives herself away in one of the videos. I was watching them keenly and I just thought, oh, this is pathetic. You've got all these facts wrong. You don't know what you're talking about. Like, oh, for somebody that says you are a Christian. When did I ever tell people I was a Christian? I believe in the Most High. That's what I believe in. I believe in Yeshua the Christ, the Ethiopian. I got baptized because I wanted to be rebirthed of water and the spirit according to African spirituality. Where my tart boat? She doesn't have a clue what she's on about. And it's not getting her very many views, which is clearly what she wants, because she says, she gives herself away and she says, I don't need to be on your platform. I will never come there again. But I banned you when you popped up in the chats. What do you mean you'll never come there again? You won't come as Zawadi, no. You're probably here already under a different profile, looking for your content. You pathetic being. What a sado. What a sado. They need this content in order to make their content. She said, I will build my own channel. Oh, well, we know that's your intention, isn't it? Weary Bussington. What an idiot. Anyway, I'm not going to spend that much more oxygen on those people. Those are the updates, my brothers and sisters. Give me 1 minute. I'm going to see where sister's at. Oh, what's this? Oh, okay. Yeah, gotcha. I'm going to see where sister's at very, very quickly. I've been told to turn my camera off when I do this because people lip read. Not that I'm saying anything that's that deep. I guess for some people it could be. But 1 second, my brothers and sisters. 1 second. Yes, so sister's there. She had it in her head as 9:30. It happens. She's on her way in now. Somebody says, are you saying that Honeybee is paying to expose chat for members? Yeah, she's pretty much paid her $3.99. Probably cancelled again, which is, not hard to do. Just so that she can get the content and put it out there as the baseness of some of our people. And what upsets me about this, I don't care what people say about me, especially if it ain't true. If it's true and I don't want something to be known about me, then I'm going to feel shame. I'm going to feel away. But the foolishness they go on with doesn't bother me in the slightest. What upsets me and what irks my soul is the fact that a platform such as this, with the amount of women that have shared their pain, even if you look at last week's live, you understand? And these people are still sitting down on the bumper of this thing, making it about Afua Rose. Do you understand? And going on with a bag of foolishness. That's what upsets me. It's the fact that you've got no respect for the women that have suffered in our community. Whenever we get it right, whenever it's proven beyond reasonable doubt, like when Peter Bailey's own daughter came on and told about him. We've had other times where it's unequivocal. There's no way you can try to deny this. They go quiet. They don't give it its props. They go quiet. So it's a hatred thing. And especially when it comes to Weary Bussington, yeah, that's definitely personal from her because it's so obvious in the way she speaks, in the presentation. Even when she was on that night, it was personal. I'm saying, but when we do this, man, sir, you understand what I'm saying? I don't know you from Adam. I don't know these people. Why are you taking it so personally? It's just insane. It's just absolutely insane. Her thumbnails were disgusting. Is that the Zawadi person? I don't know actually, but whatever. They're saying, oh, giraffe in the glasses. I think that's quite funny actually. Do you understand what I'm saying? I mean, that's quite funny. When I got my puff up and stuff, yeah, you could actually say that, couldn't you really? It's just foolishness, childhood, playground, idioticness. I do try to keep it about victims, but they keep trying to make it about Afua Rose, because these people are either haters that are, they've been doing their YouTube thing for a long time. They see themselves as content creators. Here I come along, fumbling and bumbling and don't know how to work the technology, and they see me as being more successful than them. I mean, repent and clean up your soul is all I've got to say. Like, clearly you have no life. Because if you did, you wouldn't really be indulged in all of this. Who cares? I don't care what the next YouTuber is doing. And I'm not a YouTuber. I'm another YouTuber. It's foolishness. I don't want to be a YouTuber. I am here because this is the best way of getting the message out there. This is the best way of naming and shaming and exposing these men in our community that have been getting away with what they've been getting away for a very, very long time. Right? That's what's going on. Anyway. Forget them. To be honest, I don't think I'll be mentioning them again because it's so insignificant. It's unreal. You understand? What's interesting as well, she had like 14 views, this amount of views, and then she got 500 views on the day I mentioned her, and she popped up in the chats because people wanted to go and have a look and see what is this all about. And then after that, the views drop again. So you're an idiot, is all I've got to say. A real fool, a real sad, lonely, damaged, distracted woman. And we did something a little while back. We've done it a few times actually, when the victim becomes the perpetrator, you know, and she is classic case in point of when the victim becomes the perpetrator, which is some of the things we're going to talk about tonight as well with Sis, if she gets on. I cannot see her. Oh wow. I think Sis might have to come after if she's unable to get on. And we'll have to hear from the sister that's actually been waiting quite patiently in the room. So I'm going to bring Sister on, and we'll hear from Lorraine afterwards, I think. Yeah, we'll hear. As always, my brothers and sisters, we got the march coming up, stalls going out. In fact, next week I'll be announcing the amount of stalls that we have available as well. It's probably going to be anything from 8 to 10. It's not a lot, I know, but I'm thinking, well, we could have it all around the Windrush Square, but we don't know yet. So we're still fundraising for that. Hit the Cash App, Super Chat, GoFundMe, whatever way you feel, okay? And no, this is not faith preaching. It's not. You know, people want to see this succeed because really what we're fundraising for ultimately is not even so much the march, but it is actually so we can start to put services in place for people. There's somebody that's coming on next week, inshallah, as the Muslims say, who's going to be telling us about some services that she wants to offer our sisters. You know, she's a therapist and a life coach. She deals with well-being, and she wants to give some of our sisters a free session, which I think is really lovely of her to do that. So brilliant. We've got Lorraine. I'm going to be in contact with her. I should have been doing all of this last couple of days, but as you know, I've been well and distracted in the last kind of 24 hours or so. Yeah, so let's hear from Sister Lorraine. She's going to tidy up from last week. She did come on the members only live, and we had a nice little chat, but we didn't actually get into what we wanted to talk about today. That was better for the wider audience and for those who want to catch up from last week as well. So please welcome back my sister Lorraine, our sister Lorraine. Blessed love, sis. Blessed love.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, sis. We can hear you.
All right. Yeah, but I've not been able to set up the camera. I will try as the night goes through.
That's okay.
But yeah,
that's okay.
Yeah,
so it was just a continuation from last week, and we've been having a few chats along the way, haven't we? Welcome back, sis. Everyone's saying welcome back.
Yes, thank you.
I still can't get over what a despicable piece of work this Kelvin actually was. I mean, what the hell was that?
Yeah.
You know, I'm still reading from him thinking he can call me a girl.
It was, it was. I'm not even going to say it was difficult for me. I didn't find it difficult. I just felt very, very empowered, really. That's thanks to everybody.
I'm really glad you said that, actually, sis, because I got quite a few DMs telling me this was horrendous. Sister was struggling, all of this stuff. And I was thinking, like, all right, I hear your concern, but can everyone stop please projecting their stuff onto the sister? Because this sister ain't one for thinking, So I'm glad you said that.
And I'm not one for hiding my emotions. I am a very private person, but I'm out there, and this is something that is real. And I've learned to not hide my emotions. What you saw was, emotion, and that's it. But I am empowered. I think I said I got to the stage where I just knew I couldn't do this anymore on my own without somebody like you and the service you provide. And this isn't what I wanted to say, following on from last week. This isn't a baying platform, baying for paedophiles and all the rest of it. It's a platform that's run, by literally one person and her team, and it's bringing facts. It's bringing victims. And yeah, I mean, one of the main things, well, not main things, but one of the disappointing things is that I will talk about tonight is, you know, the victim that has now turned perpetrator. So it's a prime example. So I'm glad that Kelvin Sabaroch came on. What a narcissist loves is to get fed. And by me being on this platform, he didn't get fed. He got no response. He got no direct response from me. Everything went through our host as it should be. And that conversation was controlled. He had no control. In fact, he showed himself.
It obviously upset him as well, didn't it? Somebody's saying a condescending man, so he was blaming on being a Jamaican for his aggressiveness. A bag of excuses ain't sufficient at all.
Well,
he's not Jamaican. He's West Indian. He's Dominican,
yes.
Or his parents are anyway.
Yeah.
Right, he's West Indian. I mean, like, what kind of internalized racist statement is that? I'm West Indian, so I can shout and abuse people all I want. Where do you get that from?
Yeah.
Blessed love.
This is the culture that you're trying to.
Yeah, blessed love.
Yeah.
Got a new member just jumped in. Bless up, sister.
Wonderful.
So sis, take it away. We didn't get, because he was just interjecting and carrying on a lot of things kind of you didn't get to say, did you?
Yeah, I mean there is just so much evidence, as people will say. There is so much, and through some of our conversations, we, there are only so many voice notes you can play. What has to be looked at as well is the legal side of things. The more voice notes we play, the more excuse the police would have to say, oh, well, we can't use that because you've exposed that already, or we can't use that. And so that leads me on to say that, and I think I mentioned it last week as well, this is about the wider platform as well. It's about the culture that Afua is trying to change in our community, because Kelvin Sabaroch is somehow protected by the police. Kelvin Sabaroch, a convicted criminal, somehow manages to get a clear DBS. Kelvin Sabaroch, even people that have never heard of me, or even if this didn't get exposed, how he abuses women as well, the whole of Hackney, at least I know, knows Kello and his brother and his family. We all know, but it's, and like I said, there's so many layers to this, and I think as well I have to meet with Afua and her team as well to look about, because what I don't want is for him to still run scot-free. However, by being on this platform has enabled me for that definitely not to happen. What will be displayed, I've given my permission, and maybe not tonight, but next week, that it will be displayed, my letter to the Mayor of London. He has been fully aware of, he's been fully aware that he still drives the big red bus out of Holloway Garage. There's something wrong there, is there not? So there's a lot, yeah. Oh, I can't hear what you're saying, Afua. You've gone mute. Oh, hang on.
Yep, sorry. I was saying that we sent an email to TFL as well. Haven't heard from them yet. We'll give them another week or so. But you know what? I'm in the mood, and it's demonstration season. So if we have to go down to City Hall and do our thing, then we will. But they're not going to get away with it, and we're not going to let it go. Not at all.
No. And I suppose the last and second bit that I want to talk about is the fact that, I was a victim of Kelvin Sabaroch. Yes, I did plan my way out of it and played the long game. And the whole reason was to reach here, because you can't violate me, my family, my friends, and get away with it. That's it. It's just not going to happen. So that's why I'm here as well. nothing to do with revenge and where. It's justice, straightforward. You know.
Plain up and down. And if you
Yeah,
can't get it
that's
from the
it.
authorities, which you certainly have tried, then you've
Oh
got
my
to
God.
create your own sense of justice, within reason. Yeah.
Yeah, within reason. And the ending of this will be justice, the Western justice and our community justice. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I ask. But however, changing a culture of a community is so difficult to do, especially, it's just the hardest thing to do. And but we keep trying, keep knocking on those
Especially
doors.
our Black community, like seriously.
Yeah.
Especially
Yeah.
them. Us,
Yeah.
especially them. Yeah.
But yeah, I'll
Tell
just
us about this individual with the burnt face.
yeah. So as
What
you're
do we really
aware,
want to talk about? She kind of took set on you, didn't she, after the live?
yeah. So it was she contacted me very pleasantly at first, a couple of texts to say, how brave and well done, and then a phone call came, and it started off very pleasantly, but immediately it was how dare I disclose her location. I always had.
The thing is, you hadn't really done that. You'd mentioned the wider area, which is a very big area. You didn't disclose the location, and then she was actually in the chat, wasn't she? So she was very much with her own name.
Yes, which threatening Afua to close. She needs to speak to Afua to close it down, and then in the end, I realized, she was actually in the chat. And what I would say to that is, out of the 500 people and how much thousands of comments, there were about, I would say, no more than 10 negative comments. So, and 2 of those were actually from the victim. And I quote, Lorraine needs to get over him. And, there was one actually, I think, and obviously she'll be listening, and I'm sorry, it's not about shaming you or anything like that, but you're just a prime example of how you are a victim of Kelvin's. You really are. You managed to delete your first comment that you made, but then you forgot that you had the second one as well, which you've now deleted. But I would say, like I've always said to you, save yourself, tell the truth. Don't let him have that over you. Tell the truth, because you're turned as ugly as he has. And this is a man that's physically abused you. I saw it for myself. I know he attended court, so it's public record. So that's all I say to you. And I say to all the other victims that are supporting Kello, fix up. Come on. Whether he's abused you or not, the people that know, the people that are working in the services that are, covering for him and protect. Why? What are you getting from it? So, yeah. Yeah, I just feel angry about that, and I feel quite sad because, like I said, this is a prime example here as I speak my truth of Kelvin's victims who, yeah.
Someone called Rochelle Main is saying, please, can you tell us what you've come to tell us today? We need to hear the accusations, please. Like, slow down, Rochelle. I don't know if you came in in the middle or before I started. Sorry, after I started. But I did say we're going to hear from the sister from last week, and then we are going to get into the main presentation. Anyone who knows this platform knows that what you will see on Instagram during the week is what we're going to talk about now. Okay, but that's okay to ask that. I know the moderators are on point and on it, so they're just going to be making sure they double check everything. then they double check everything. But yeah, that just to answer your question anyway. Go ahead, sis.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we haven't, Afua and I haven't had time to speak about what other information we're going to share, what other voice notes we're going to share. So that is, that is still on hold. Yeah, I just haven't got a lot else to say at the moment, other than thanking everyone for their support. And
you know what, sis, it's fine. It's an ongoing process. Like you said, there's so many layers to this, and so much about this individual that needs exposing, that it's probably going to take a few attempts at doing that. Do you know what I mean? But I mean, look, you can share whatever you want right now, whatever you feel comfortable sharing. Especially, I mean, the other thing as well is this person actually did go to the police, didn't she? About what he did to her. Right.
Yeah, she did. So
I just find it a little bit confusing, but we know that there's like lots of different scenarios and provisos within this.
Yeah, and who knows what is the truth? Who knows what is which parts of Kelvin's? I mean, he after January the 18th, like I said, he planned it. He planned it. He groomed me beautifully. And it after that day, after that happened, you could see it gave him a sense of power, and going along in that relationship and having to.
Did you tell me about? I think you were telling me one time about he was kind of. He was looking at himself in the mirror while he was verbally abusing you.
Yeah,
I don't think you mentioned that last week. I was like, wow, that reminds me of American Psycho.
Yeah, and it was after he'd left a message on my phone for the wrong person, and it was like, blah blah, you're killing me, man. Anyway, it was like, oh good, this is an opportunity now for me to set free. Every time something like that came up, I would like try to organize it so that he'd like then eventually just leave. But no, his was he'd been calling me that day, and I hadn't been answering much, or I'd taken long to get to the phone. And then this final time, and I knew it was the time he was finishing his shift, and it was like, oh God. And then I thought, shall I say on the phone? Shall I not? Anyway, in the end, I said, listen, don't bother coming here, because you left a message for the wrong woman on the phone. Then it was. I could hear the intake of breath, but then I didn't know what was coming after that. But oh boy, did I get it. It was like, he just immediately went into denial, and then it was just immediate warning me he's on his way here. You better wait, you better blah, 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 blah. In the meantime, I called my friend who, well, I won't say what happened, but she's got serious illness that she was just recovering from. But she was so worried for me. She came down in her car. She got here, and man's in the middle of the room abusing me. And while he's doing it, I didn't even notice until she told me after. And he's looking at himself. I have a very large, full-size mirror in my lounge, and he's there looking at himself, like catching himself and checking himself, and then going back to the abuse. You're muted.
That was while he was sort of shouting at you and doing whatever verbally abusing you. He was having a look at himself, like his posture in the mirror. It really reminds me of American Psycho. I don't know if you've seen that film.
Yes. And I think she even mentioned that afterwards, because it was like, that she knew it was those, and that's not even the subtle ones, but there were, like I said, as he got after that time, his mouth just got looser and looser, and as I withdrew, he he obviously thought he became more powerful, but yeah, like I said, after that first breakdown, and I managed to get myself back together from that, and then get a new contract. From then, I was determined. I have to play this game with this mother f, and work my way out of this relationship neatly. But in all that time, he felt that he'd broken me. Even when I got back to work, or he obviously got scared, had to step up his game, setting up whatever he needed to outside, because I suppose he knew his time was numbered. But he couldn't bear to not. I think it's the challenge, abusers like him. You can be a narcissist and live a good life still. Do you know what I mean? But narcissistic abusers like him, it's that challenge as well. It's that challenge that they thrive on it. But once that supply, because as I said, towards the very end of the relationship, I became almost mute. People I spoke to were my my daughter and my friends, of which I was partly living a lie. Do you know what I mean? Because they didn't all know the details of what was really going on. And
it's so important.
Stories he would share with me, and I would sit there listening in disgust.
About his sexual deviances.
His sexual deviances. I'm no prude, but the things that he would.
You told me a few of those, and I can't even repeat some of them. My God.
Yeah, and it was like, wow, and they were all to do with power and
he's a classic, and I think that's why it's so important to kind of put him on the table and dissect him. It's so important for women to understand the red flags, the behaviors, the things that constitute these narcissistic predators, my sister. It really, really is.
But also, sorry to interrupt, but it's important as well, I think, as women, we've got to realize he turned that victim that I've been talking about, he turned her into somebody ugly. Because when in another conversation with her, because she knows his missus from another area, she knows of her, and has had conversations with her, and has been on, knows what it looks like, and she's then, telling me that she's not good looking and she's not this, and I don't know why he's with that, and it's like, how can you be thinking of another woman like that when you know that this man is so abusive? He's turned you already into another ugly woman. Because how can you be cussing about how she looks? What's that got to do with it? And it's quite. I don't feel any shame in being groomed by him and being raped by him and being abused by him. I don't feel any shame in that, because it wasn't me. I don't feel stupid. I don't feel any of that, because I understand.
And that's I think the ground that women need to give up. All the things you don't feel is all the things that other women do feel, why they don't come forward,
Yes. And that's what they want. That's what they created. They create shame in you. They create ugliness in you, because at the beginning, I ain't gonna lie, it was like, what am I gonna do? I've never even spoken the way that some of the words that are coming out of my mouth. Do you know what I mean? Right. It was like, I couldn't live
it's like a transfer of demons. That's what it is. A transfer of demons, my sister. That's what I believe it is. Because they're definitely demonic. He certainly is.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And I mean, and no juju or whatever he tried to put, because he feels that he's this spiritual being that can, just by thinking about it and talking to his brother, can bring death upon. What kind of rubbish is that? Please. I mean, but there's, the victim believes it. Do you know what I mean? And that was the other thing that made it so ugly, of how she's turned into a perpetrator, because her other comment was, somebody said I shouldn't speak ill of the dead. Me and her both had the conversation. We are sure that he isolated that poor woman and took her to the hospital at the last minute. She's very clear about that as well. But then you put in the comment, you know, I shouldn't speak ill of the dead. That is, you know, I'm saying to you direct because I know you can hear me. You need to check yourself and do what I've been telling you all along. Tell the police the truth. It's not about protecting him or protecting you and your reputation, because he's done exactly what he set out to do. Make sure you don't have no reputation unless it's controlled by him. You know?
And that's a very clear message, sis. A very clear message.
Apologies for ranting on.
No, that's fine. We are going to continue this conversation, definitely. But sister's been waiting backstage very patiently for 45 minutes. So we're going to continue this conversation. I think we're going to get deeper on it in the members live, if anything, because I think there's some things that is important to share that we would want to do privately. And we're going to actually be vetting what I'm going to be asking people to do actually from this point onwards. If you are a member, please could you DM me with a picture of yourself? We need to vet who's in the membership, basically, because we're not going to have these moles coming in, snooping on people's private business in that way. The whole point of the membership was that we could create a safe space. Also, Paula Smith, I'm sorry, I was supposed to give you a wrench. It was in my mind to do that today. Been working all week, haven't got around to it. But you also need to send me an actual link rather than a picture of your URL. I need to do that rather than me tapping it all in. If you could do that for me, sis, that'd be brilliant. And I will give you a wrench for next week. Blessed love, sis. But yes, Sister Lorraine, as always, it's been a pleasure, my sister.
Yes, I'm sorry I can't see you. Well, I can see you, but sorry, but I will be better organized next week.
Don't worry yourself. It's all good. It's all good, sis. It's all good. Blessed love, sis. Thanks for joining us, okay? We'll catch up.
Thank you.
All right, my sister. Blessed love. It's always such a pleasure speaking to that sister. She's absolutely amazing. And I can see that she's going to be an integral part of what it is that we do. She's got the expertise. She's got the passion. And we definitely want to be hearing from that sister again. But without further ado, you guys might remember this individual if you've been on Instagram. Lord. If you've got any children, get them to turn away because they may have nightmares tonight. It's definitely the stuff that nightmares are made of. This is Kyron Kwashi. That's his name. Kyron Kwashi. I believe that's a Ghanaian name, is it not? This guy here. Kyron Kwashi. Some people call him Kilroy. Why do they always have really off-key names to go with their off-key looks and personalities? But, you know, can you imagine a child, a baby, a child with that individual over them doing the most unspeakable, atrocious things? It's just the stuff that nightmares are made of. But I want you to welcome Strength to the stage. This to the stage. I'm going on like I'm doing an actual live on the stage. I've done too many of those. To the room. Please welcome Strength to Strength. Blessed love, my sister.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, thank you so much for waiting patiently back there, sis.
That's okay.
Thank you so much. So yeah, Kyron Kwashi, you're going to tell us all about him and the horrific things that you suffered at the hands of this man. You know, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm a bit nervous, but I'm okay. I'm ready.
It's okay. Don't be nervous, sis. Well, I can't say don't be nervous, but I will say that I'm sure by the end of this process, your nerves would have completely gone out the window. Please give sister a big, big warm welcome that when she watches this back, she feels the love. Yeah, so let's talk about Kyron Kwashi. I mean, he's just a monstrous individual. He's a monstrous person. And I don't often talk about people's looks, but my goodness. God was not kind when he dished that one out at all.
Definitely not.
You've got a little bit of a crackling going on the
I can hear it as well. I thought it was the other end. I don't know why it's doing that. It's gone now, hasn't it?
Can work with it.
Has it gone?
It's not. Yeah, I think it has. Maybe it's when you speak. It's when you speak. It might be your actual mic might have some dust in it or something like that. Sounds like you're eating crisps
I'm definitely not.
on the line. So yes, sis.
So good evening, everyone. Yes, I'm strength to strength. Unfortunately, I have been a victim of abuse a very long time ago. I'm now 36 years old. This happened to me when I was just a little girl, little baby. I can't remember the exact age I was, but I do know that I was definitely between the age of 4 and 7. This man was actually a friend of my mum's. And unfortunately, my mum had left me in the house with him. I was actually sleeping in her bed, and I just remember waking up and he was next to me. And yeah, I was literally a baby. I was a baby. He was just literally feeling me up, and I just remember a wet feeling. And before you know it, I've got a brother that's 8 years older than me. He came into the house and he walked into the bedroom. So he interrupted him. So it actually could have been a lot worse than what it was. And my brother just took me over to my auntie's house. And that was it. This is something that has stuck with me since. Basically, I am now a mother of 2. I've got 2 daughters myself. And this is just something that has really, really affected me. And I would say it's only been, maybe within the past 2 years that I have now been open to talk about it to more than a counsellor and to more than close friends and family. It's literally scarred me for life. I'm traumatized. I'm so overprotective of my girls. It's actually bringing tears to my eyes now because I don't want history repeating itself.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I haven't had the support from my immediate family in regards to this. Not sure why. I guess there's many reasons behind it, but I'm not sure why. But it's not something that I'm going to chase because, I shouldn't have to chase support for something like that. I'm the victim here.
Yeah.
I was a little girl. I was an innocent little girl left in the house with a male friend of my mum's. So yeah, it was just something that it's basically stuck with me literally since I was a little girl, and it's always stuck in the back of my head. I'm so against this, and yeah, sorry.
No, it's okay, sis. Take your time. You take your time. And look, I don't want to downgrade your mum. It's your mum. We should all respect our mums regardless. But I just think, how long you were 4. You probably wouldn't have even been able to kind of quantify the time period of how long you were left alone.
Yeah.
This wasn't your mum's partner at all.
No, it wasn't. No,
it was just a mate, a friend.
It was a mate, yeah.
And I'm just thinking, like, where is the awareness, sister? How are you going to leave a man, and especially a beast of a man looking like that, in a house with your baby girl and your 12-year-old son, possibly something like that?
He wasn't even at the house. I think he had just come in.
So you were alone. Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't fathom it, and you can't fathom it either as a mum.
Most definitely not. Most definitely not. The world that we live in then and now, it's just gotten worse, and it's just not something that I would ever consider doing with my kids. My kids are literally my handbag. They're with me wherever I go. Honestly, wherever I go. And sometimes I think to myself, is it because of what's happened to me I'm like this, or is it just the way I am as a parent? And I do genuinely think it's actually both, because my kids are my everything, they're my life. But then at the same time, we don't know who we're around. We can't put our hands in fire for nobody and say this person wouldn't do this person wouldn't do that, because we don't know what happens behind closed doors.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's, if it's the one thing that this campaign has shown over the last 20 months, is you can't trust anybody. You don't know. You know, the Bible says that if your right hand offends you, you cut it off. You dare not trust your own. You understand? It's, people need to stop swearing for people, sis. Sis,
No,
do you
definitely.
want to share about the reaction when you actually disclosed? Because thankfully, this was the one and only time that he got a chance with you, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And basically, unfortunately, he's actually still friends with my mum, which is very shocking. This man.
Reel us back a bit before you go to that bit, because
Okay.
you disclosed at what age did you tell?
I remember this came out. I remember there was an argument within the family when this came out, about maybe my daughter's 12, so about 12 years ago. No, about 10 to 11 years ago. This came out, and you know, my mum said that she wasn't aware of what happened and stuff like that. But then I cannot 100% say that's true or not, because I was I was a baby basically, and my brother had taken me to my auntie. I don't know if my brother then explained to my auntie what had happened. I don't know if he explained to my mum what had happened. I don't know if she knew, but it was never spoken of. I was never sat down as a child, and no one questions me ever about it. So it came out then, and there was a big argument saying, I didn't know, this one knew, this one didn't know. So that was an argument that was short-lived, within a day or two. And then I would say at that time as well, that's when I first spoke to my dad about it, because my dad was unaware, and unfortunately my dad was away when this happened. So he hit the roof, as I expected, and it was just a moment where I guess everyone felt sorry for me. But yeah, it was just one of those things. My dad was very supportive. You know, he was expressing to me how he just wants to go and beat him up, he wants to find him, ask me where he lives and stuff like that, which of course I don't have that information.
And I actually
But
spoke to your dad as well, didn't I? And
yes, you
he's
did.
a very lovely man. You can just feel the gentleness coming from
Yeah.
him. You know, lovely,
Yeah.
lovely man, very supportive. And I told him, I said, I'm very proud of you, brother, because it's not often. Trust me.
It's not, and I'm proud of myself, because like I said, it's something that I've wanted to talk about, and I have had counselling for it, because I sometimes feel like I'm so hard on my girls because of it, because I just want to keep them safe. So I'm definitely proud of myself for moving forward and not allowing this man to just ruin my life with my kids. Do you know what I mean? Because it's got a huge impact on that. But yeah, unfortunately, I was saying, you know, my mum's still friends with this man.
This is after you told her as well, isn't it? It's just
Yeah.
beggars
This is
belief.
after.
It
This
beggars
is
belief. It
it's
really does. And what
it's
was
shocking.
she's had a reaction
Yeah,
quite
quite
recently, hasn't
recent.
she?
Yeah, quite recently, because basically how we got to this reaction is, obviously I came across your page, Afua, and
Sorry, just hold that thought a minute, sis. People are
yeah,
asking what area he comes from. I didn't actually put that up on Insta.
Ealing.
Ealing, so he's a West London man.
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, he requested me on Facebook last year, and bearing in mind, I know him as Kilroy. I don't know him as Chiron. I just see that that's on his profile page. So it had a mutual friend with my mum's. I was like, okay, it's just a friend of my mum's. I've most probably known him growing up or something. So I've accepted him. And then the moment I accepted him, he rang me on Facebook. But then I've looked at his picture and I'm like, this can't be who I think it is.
Oh my goodness.
So I've answered it, and I've heard him, and I literally just went crazy. And it was literally first thing in the morning. I was getting ready to go to work with my kids, and I literally just was screaming at him like, "Why are you phoning me? You're a paedophile. You're a paedophile." And he didn't even try and deny it. He didn't question it. He just said, "Okay," and put the phone down. And the reason why he had access to me is because, unfortunately, he's still friends with my mum. My mum has him on Facebook. Him having my mum on Facebook has access to me still. And I just feel like my mum's let me down then, and she's still letting me down now.
It really, it irks my soul. It really, really does, my sister. It does.
So basically, I rang my dad literally just last week. And I asked my dad, I said, Dad, can you phone my mum? Because my mum and dad haven't been together for many years now. And I said, can you phone my mum and ask her why she is friends with this man? Because I have a relationship with my mum. Not a good relationship, but we have a relationship. And I've never disrespected my mum. That's how I was raised. And I just felt like if I had rang her and asked her, I would have said something that I may have regretted. So I phoned my dad and I said, Dad, can you phone my mum and ask her why she's still friends with this man? And as I expected, my dad asked, and she said whatever she said and put the phone down on him, and then rang me immediately. And I answered the phone, and she asked me, why am I getting my dad to phone her and ask her why she's friends with this man? Why am I acting like the victim? If this is how I feel, why do I come to her house? Why do I do this? Why do I do that? And I didn't even say anything. I just waited for her to put the phone down, which she normally would do, and she did. And I haven't spoken to her since, because I just feel like, as her daughter, you've let me down as a child, and you're continuously letting me down now. You are still friends with this man that troubled your daughter.
It's disgraceful.
That violated your child, and you're still friends with this man. And the thing is, as well, I remember when he did phone me on Facebook last year. This was last year, September. I phoned my mum, or I phoned my little sister who lives with my mum, and I said, ask mummy to phone him and tell him don't phone my phone. I was just angry. I was like, why is he phoning me? And I think apparently she phoned him and told him not to phone. But then, as far as I'm concerned, that conversation shouldn't have went like that.
No.
It should have went like, you've troubled my daughter, F off, blah, 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 blah. But it never went like that. It sounds like it was, why are you phoning her? Don't phone her. And that was it. Just put to bed. Just push it under the carpet and done.
But
how I see it.
Sorry, go ahead, sis. Go ahead.
I was just saying, like, you've let me down as a child, and you're still letting me down now. And I've got 2 daughters. How I see it is, I've just questioned everything now. I've questioned, if I was to leave my girls there, would you have your man friend there again to trouble my kids? Like, it's just made me question a lot of things now. Do you know what I mean? Because I wouldn't do that with my kids. I'm not going to leave no man friend in my house with my kids for what? My
it
kids
makes
are just
absolutely
with me.
No sense whatsoever.
And she's just continuously let me down. She's letting me down now. She's like, I could go on I took her off my Facebook, but as of last week, I checked, and that's the whole reason why I phoned my dad, because she's still friends with this man, and this is how he had access to me, because of that connection. You know how Facebook works, mutual friends pop up. That's how he requested me, and he's got 3. He requested me on 3 accounts.
And that's the thing, isn't it? Why was he pursuing you all these years later?
Exactly.
That is so classic.
Like he was denying it. He didn't deny it not once. He just said, okay, and put the phone down. He didn't say, what are you talking about? Blah, 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 blah. He said, okay, and put the phone down, because he knows what he done. He just feels that, oh, maybe she's forgotten it. It was a long time ago. Let me, like, no.
But for me, it's just that classic behavior. This is what they do. They never leave you alone. If they think they can get back in there and reclaim that power, this is what they're going to attempt. You know, paedophiles that is such a paedophile MO, to try to contact the victim years later. Such a paedophile MO, sis. Because he's clearly a paedophile. You were a baby of 4 years old. What was he doing in the bed, feeding you up and putting his nastiness all over you? It's grotesque, as grotesque as he is. I'm so sorry, sis, you had to go through that.
So am I.
But, you know, you're strong. And just give us a bit of insight, sis, into, because I'm sure there's lots of people screaming from the bushes, oh, why are you saying it now? It wasn't that bad. You know, he didn't actually get in there, did he? And la, 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 because we hear this all the time.
No, I understand that.
What would you say to that?
honestly, there's been plenty of times when I've actually thought about just walking into the police station and reporting it just by myself. You know, when you just have moments in life where you're just like, F it, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And then, like I said, this thing has stuck with me since, and it is hard to talk about. It's not something that you just say, oh, by the way, guys, this happened to me. Do you know what I mean? It's difficult. Some of my close friends don't even know about it. It's difficult. And it was only last week that I even told my children about it, because I want them to understand what is wrong and what is right. And I want them to know that, unfortunately, mummy has experienced this, but I've come out the other end stronger, and I will do whatever it takes to protect my kids. The reason why I'm talking about it now is because I'm 36 years old now, and you know, the older you get, the wiser you get, and I just feel that I'm in control. I feel more confident talking about it. It was your post that encouraged me to do this. Your post on that guy, Bugsy.
And he's from West London as well, isn't he?
Yeah, also a friend of my mum's.
Ah, now that's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so it's that's encouraged me to talk about it and, you know, fight against it, because I can't let him win. I can't let him win. It's difficult. This is something that's happened to me as a little girl, and I watch my kids, and I'm just like, I have to come out the other side with my head held high, because I was a little innocent little girl at home, and unfortunately this has happened.
You know, the one place where you're supposed to feel safe as a small child is your home. You know, and what is it with mum and hanging out with these horrible perpetratory men? With these,
I don't know. I'll be honest with you, I think that's one of the biggest disappointments as well, was that she's obviously wasn't expecting that to happen to me when I was a little girl, but it's the fact that she's not in my corner now. The fact that she's against me, saying, why am I acting like the victim? Like, I was an innocent little girl, just sleeping in my mum's bed, you know? And like I was saying to you the other day, and I was speaking to my dad about it, because my dad was really angry, and I was just saying, I'm not looking attention. I'm just in a position in my life now where I want to talk about it, because it's been eating at me for the past how many years, and I'm now finding the courage to talk about it. You've encouraged that, because why should they get away with it? Why should they get away with it? Why should they not be exposed? Why should they not? He clearly knows what he done when he made that phone call. He did not once say, what are you talking about? He just clearly said, okay, and put the phone down. And unfortunately, my kids were sitting right beside me, because they saw that I was so angry and I was shouting. My kids don't see that in me.
Wow. And the name Kwashi's Ghanaian, isn't it? Is he actually of Ghanaian extraction? Is he Ghanaian?
I have no clue.
Yeah, I suspect he is with the surname, or maybe his father was or something. But
he's from Ealing. I don't know if he still lives in Ealing, but that's where I last remember knowing where he lived, in Ealing.
I'm very angry with your mum, sis. I'm very angry.
So am I. How do you think I feel? There's 3 of us. I've got 2 other sisters, you know, and obviously my older sister, and both my sisters understand. Do you know what I mean? But it's like, I expected my mum to say, you know, I'm sorry, you're right. But it was a total opposite. I felt like she was attacking me. Like, why are you acting like the victim? It was a simple question. Why are you still friends with the man that troubled your daughter?
Just to ask this, does your mum have any substance misuse issues?
Pardon?
Does your mum have any substance misuse issues?
No.
So she's not a drinker, she doesn't use...
No.
I mean, sometimes these, you know, these
She smokes weed, but
situations
other
can
than that,
bring about a certain type of personality in people. So I'm
you
still
know,
struggling to think
she
what could have
smokes weed,
motivated
but
this woman.
she doesn't drink.
Wow.
Mm.
Not saying that
She's
every drinker or every drug addict would do a thing like that.
yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah. I
absolutely not
know,
the case.
I know.
I know many. I've counseled many a drug user and alcoholic, and some of them are very upstanding people. So we're not going to go with stereotypes here, but it might give rhyme and reason as to why on earth this mother would literally hand him to you from her bed and then seek to deny you. It's just atrocious, sis.
I know, and the thing is, it's like it's now put me in a position where I just don't want to have nothing to do with her at the moment because
It's sad.
I'm like, if you don't have my corner, like I can't trust you. I can't trust you with my kids. You know, like my kids are my everything. I would die for my children. I wouldn't want history repeating itself by making that small mistake thinking, oh, they're with my mum, they're safe. When they're not, because I wasn't safe with my mum. So how would they be safe? You know?
And that's actually a really bold assertion because so many women, because it is the mum, and even though they know that the mother denied them their truth, they will still put the children there because they were like, well, it's still my mum, maybe she was younger, maybe she made a mistake with me, and on it goes. The same thing happens again, 2 generations under one person's watch, that kind of thing. Unbelievable, sis, unbelievable. And so in terms of going forward, you were talking about potentially going to the police. You're able to do that, right? There is no statute of limitation.
Okay.
You are able to do that. We can talk about that afterwards.
Okay.
I think what's key is that you've told people along the way. And I think people like your father would actually testify in your favor.
No,
And
definitely
there's
he
probably one or
will.
two others as well that would, isn't there? So something like that, if you've got that kind of thing, makes your case a hell of a lot stronger than if you just randomly went and said, this is what happened and it was your word against his. People were involved. People were told years ago, weren't they? So that's something that if you want to pursue that, sis, we will definitely support you to do that and point you in the right direction.
Okay.
Definitely.
I
But
appreciate that.
I am certain that this man has more than one victim. And I'm also certain that not everyone was as blessed as you to be rescued. You were literally rescued by your brother.
I know.
How old was he at the time? If you were 4, he's 8 years older, then he was roughly about 12, right?
Yeah.
So he would have been quite aware
Yeah.
of what he saw. Did he walk straight in literally and catch him in the act, or was it a bit of a kind of
Yeah, I just remember him coming in and then next minute I just know that I was dressed and going to my auntie's house. But at the moment I'm unable to get in contact with my brother to confirm this.
Yeah, I know.
But I definitely would like to because like I said, it's not something that's spoken of often. But that's why I just love my brother because someone was watching over me and my brother came in and rescued me. He saved me. He really did. But I just don't know what happened once I got to my auntie's. I don't know if it was discussed or not. All I know
Well,
is
you were
that I
very
was
young,
physically,
memories such
I
as those are
literally,
quite patchy, aren't they? You remember bits
yeah,
and what happened next and whatever. Somebody's actually asking, saying if mom was financially vulnerable, she may have been getting financial help indirectly. For instance, these men see vulnerable women and come in like a friend and help with bills. That's very true. Could it have been something like that? Was he minted in any way? Was he handing out money? Would you know?
not that I recall, no. I just remember him living in a flat in Ealing and he just used to come by from time to time.
So it's literally just a brethren.
Yeah, literally.
I feel like we're trying to make up rationale and find excuses for mum.
Yeah.
But it's getting
But
thin on the
there's no
ground now. Like
excuse. There's no excuse. She's
there's
just
no
let her
excuse.
child down. She's let
Yeah.
me down. That's what it is.
She
She didn't
has.
protect me and she's not protecting me now. There's no excuse. Sometimes, unfortunately, it's your own family that,
Absolutely.
it's not, I was a little girl.
We've
There was
got a couple of sisters in the chat saying that exactly the same thing happened to them or whatever. I'm going to put the link out, sis. Would you mind taking or having a conversation with another sister that might have been through the same thing? or whatever.
Yeah, that's fine. That's
so I'm
fine.
going to put the link out, guys. Right, yeah. Back on this old laptop. It just shows better, but it's not great for anything else, this laptop. It really isn't. I want to commend you though, my sister. Like, you really are absolutely inspirational. You know, you spoke to me really at length and passionately about how important it was for you to get this out and take back your power from this man, and also to appeal to other victims.
Yeah.
We're certain that this man has done this before in other people's families, if not his own. Pretty certain. Does he have children, sis?
Not that I'm aware of. At the
You're
time,
aware
I
of.
don't think he did. Or maybe he had a daughter. Maybe.
Heaven help her.
Maybe. I don't know. What do you know what it is? I just, if I can encourage anyone to speak up, I hope I can. It's unfortunate that this has happened to me and to many others. It's just so unfortunate. But if I could help anyone, I'm always happy to help. You know,
if anyone's watching, if you've seen the Instagram live, if you're feeling apprehensive and you have been a victim of this guy Kwashi, please DM me. I will pass your details on, or not, depending on what you want. You may just want to tell me about it. But if you do want to hook up with the sister, please let me know, and I will ensure that you guys get together, because the more of you come forward, especially with your genealogy, I think you could actually get something there. You could make some headway with that. I really do. Join the link if you want to talk to sister or just want to make a comment. Let's see. Here it goes again. I've sent it out about 3 times now, but I keep losing it because the chats are going so quickly. That's the link, people. It's in the chat. Copy and paste it. Follow the instructions. Click the link and follow the instructions and come on if that's what you want to do. Is there anything else you want to add or that you feel is important to get out there, my sister?
Just protect your children. Look out for them. Look out for signs. And just, I don't even know. I honestly don't know.
You know, sis, sometimes we have to kind of bear the cross so that our children can be free from the generational curse. Because my guess is that your mum's probably been through this herself, and that's what the denial and the kind of repellent attitude is all about with you. You know, and that's not to excuse her behavior. You know, when I was a child, I thought as a child, I did as a child, and now I'm a grown up, I put away childish things. You know, she should have evolved enough as a mother to protect her young, especially if she's been through it. But unfortunately, that is not the way that every person is pathologized, especially if they're in denial from the outset. You know, they can often create this cycle. But I think one of the most splendid things is that you are breaking that cycle. Your children, you've told me about literally how you do not let them out of your sight. You know?
I don't.
And that's a work in itself, because you've got to kind of inch them out and let them be in the world.
Yeah.
At the same time, be protective.
That's,
you know, it's a very hard balance. Very hard.
That's why I seeked counselling, because of that. Because I just felt like I was being too hard on them, and I just didn't know how to allow them to just explore a bit, you know, without me having anxiety and panic attacks and just having that horrible feeling in my throat. What if, you know?
We've got a sister Hurricane Toya coming on, and I knew sister would come on because, sis, Hurricane Toya, can you connect your device, camera and microphone, because it's saying that you're not connected. Please try again. I think it would be really good for you two to bounce, because your story has so many parallels with hers. You probably, I don't know if you've seen her story. She's definitely been on this platform telling her story before, and it's a really compelling story. But both of you are very, very strong women, and it would be really good for her to give you a perspective as well. Try again for me, Toya, please. I don't know what's going on. This thing is just spooky. Is that the word? That's what my children say. Spooky, mate. It just keeps messing up. I don't know what it is. I pay enough for this StreamYard to make things interesting and interactive. and they need to sort it out. Basically, putting it up again. If you can try and come on again, sis. Hurricane Toya. Okay, sis is going to try and come back on, sis. So, so yeah, you've never actually spoken to your brother about it, you were saying, and I understand why you can't get hold of him at the moment.
No, it's never been discussed because unfortunately my brother's been away quite a lot, so it's never been discussed. But you know, I've had support from both my sisters, and my mum just seems like she's done nothing wrong, basically.
So classic, sis. Unfortunately, I'd like to say that it's exclusive to you, this type of behavior, but it is so very prevalent in our community. I despair. I completely despair at some of these women. I really do. I really do. Honestly. There's the StreamYard link, people. Toya's going to try and get back on. If anybody else wants to come on, please do. I think Toya will be here in just a second.
Okay.
And so what about the wider family, sis? Like aunties, uncles, people like that. What are they saying?
Well, I actually spoke to my auntie. She's not actually my auntie, she's my cousin. She's my mum's first cousin, actually. I actually spoke to her on Saturday, just gone.
Okay.
And I just pulled her aside because she was at my daughter's party. And, you know, I just explained to her, because she knew about it as well. So I have told her about it as well. And, you know, I just said to her, you know, my mum's still friends with this guy. She said, oh, I'm going to talk to her. But I'm like,
so
no,
would this be your mother's sister?
No, she's my mum's cousin.
Okay.
Yeah, she's my mum's first cousin. But she's my mum's age. So I just spoke to her briefly about it, and I said, you know, my dad rang her, and she's like, oh, she was just in shock, like, what's wrong with your mum? I'm gonna phone her, I'm gonna talk to her, but I just told her not to because I know it's just gonna bring more shame to her that my dad's had to phone her, and now she's had to phone her and ask her what her issue is, why she's still in contact with this man, and I know that would just make her. It would just make her vex. You know, and it'll just bring shame to her. And I just can't be bothered. I'm just literally just going to keep her at arm's length now and just focus on my family, you know. I've never disrespected my mum in any way. And I'm just going to take a step back because, you know, she's just let me down. You know, my mum's let me down.
Sometimes, you know, we have to love them from a distance, my sister. Sometimes it's just the way it's got to be for your own protection. You know, I know all about that. It literally is. It's not that you don't love your mum, you don't want her around you, but if she's toxic to that level, and you know you've got small children yourself, you know, it's just the right thing to do. I hear
That's
you.
the thing. The thing is as well. It's like I don't really have a good relationship with my mum. However, she's my mum. I respect her. I love my mum. But then, at the same time, it's like, look how look at her response. She rang me, asked me why am I acting like I'm the victim. If that's how I feel, why do I come to her house? Like, that's your response to my dad phoning you, asking you why are you still friends with the man that troubled your daughter, and your response is, if I feel that way, why do I still come to your house?
So she's literally defending her friendship with him inadvertently, isn't she?
Literally, because she didn't even like speak of it. She just like, why do you come to my house then? It's just like, wow, this is what you're focusing on. You're not focusing on the man that you're still friends with. That, you know, you're focusing on why I still come to you. You're my mum.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if that's how you see it, then you know what? I'm going to stop coming to your house then. I'm not going to push up myself on her. I'm just going to stand back. Because I haven't spoken to her since. She hasn't made any contact with me or anything. And it's awkward because I speak to my sister. My sister lives there. But yeah, she's like, oh yeah, I'm with mummy and stuff like that. And I just don't respond really. Because I've got nothing to say to her. I've got nothing to say to her.
And deep down, sis, how does that actually leave you feeling?
I honestly just feel disappointed and I feel let down. I feel broken at times. I do. I feel broken at times because I didn't ask for this. I was a little girl. I was sleeping in my mum's bed, as you do as a child, you know. I didn't ask for this. I didn't ask to be woken up by a flipping man feeling me up. I didn't ask for that. And now that this has happened, I'm acting like I'm the victim. What, because it happened over 30 years ago? This has affected me permanently. I'm scarred for life. You can't just wake up and get over something like that.
No. It's a shock. I mean, it's literally like you are still in shock, you know, up to this point where you're kind of relieving yourself of that shock now. If you're a baby and you wake up with the bogeyman in your bed, of course you are going to be traumatized. It's just like I said, it's the stuff that nightmares are made of. Your 4-year-old child. Wow. Mum has a lot to answer to. I will wager very strongly that she's a victim herself who has buried this, and she cannot abide by anything that you're saying. That's what it feels like to me. So she actually needs help. She needs some help. Whether or not that's doable, I don't know. But you've done the right thing, sis, to take yourself away, heal thyself.
Yeah.
And then, you know, she can get on and be as toxic as she pleases with this mate of hers who's clearly more important than her own daughter.
Clearly.
You know? But that's not an easy journey. I know it, sis. I have not had a decent conversation with my mum in 12 years. I haven't seen her in God knows how many years, like face to face. And it's not an easy transition. You know, it's a very painful thing. It's your mum at the end of the day. This is the woman that you love. And to have to make the decision that I need to be away from you is not an easy something. It's not an easy thing. Oh, Hurricane Toya she's unable to join. I don't know what's going on tonight. But she says you are not a victim, you are a survivor, 100%, absolutely. Thank you for that, Sister Toya. Yeah, 100% survivor, which I think you know, sis. You know, you're empowered, you are a survivor, you're healing. You've sought the right kind of support. You've got yourself counseling, which is or therapy. It's not easy to get these days, to be fair, unless you've got a bag of money.
No, I got it whilst I was working in a school.
That's fantastic. You know, there's a lot to be said for the public sector in that regard, I think.
Yeah.
You know, if you're in corporate, you might get it. It depends on if it's workplace connected, but yeah. Or if it's impacting your work, maybe in corporate, but these things can be available in things like education, social services, probation, whatever, the public sector. Yeah. Anyone else wants to come on? Please jump on. Sister Reema's put out the stream. Thank you, sis, for that. I don't have to keep copy and pasting it. Thank you. Sis, is there anything else you want to share with us? And you know, you're such a beautiful soul, sis. Like when I talk to you, I just feel this inner zen coming at me.
Thank
you know, and I just think that's so admirable.
No, I appreciate that. I really do. I just want to say a big thank you to you, to be fair, because you've encouraged me to speak out to all you guys listening. And honestly, I appreciate you. I appreciate what you're doing. I'm just grateful, and I'm proud of me. I'm proud of being able to talk about it. You know, it's not a nice position to be in, but I'm proud of me. I've taken this huge step. And like you said, I'm a survivor.
Yes.
And I'm doing this for my girls. I'm doing this for my kids. You know, they're my everything. So I just want to say thank you to you, and thank you guys for being supportive and for listening. I'm seeing some of your comments and I appreciate them all. I really do, because it's really uplifting me.
Absolutely. Sister here says, you have shown courage and determination. Hold on. My eyes are really foggy at the moment because I'm so tired. Hold on 1 minute. Oh no, I've lost the comment. Let me get it back, sis. I think that was such a beautiful comment. There it is. Yeah, it says, you have shown courage and determination to protect the children. When you reflect back before you had children, what was your relationship like with mother? I agree that she may have been a victim. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. But you've definitely shown determination. Is it this that made your relationship bad with your mom, do you think? Was it a good relationship in your childhood, do you think? Or can you remember?
To be fair, I've always been close with my grandmother. I've always had like a really, really good relationship with my grandmother. I don't think this is the reason why the relationship with my myself and my mum isn't good. But then at the same time, I don't know, maybe on her side, maybe there's guilt there, I don't know, but it's just never been a great relationship. I feel like she favours one of my sisters more than myself, if that makes sense. But yeah, I don't know if this is the reason, but it's
probably not. I think this may compound
yeah.
what was already a fraught relationship from what you're saying, you know. But sis, you should definitely be proud of yourself. We love you.
Thank you.
You know, as always, I will catch up with you tomorrow to make sure that you're grounded and you're okay. You know, and we'll keep talking. We'll definitely keep doing that, my sister. Thank you so much for trusting us to come on and share your truth. This Kwashi guy, I'm praying that you're going to give his other victims, and I will say his other victims because I am convinced that he would have troubled other people's children for sure. And I don't, you know, you probably weren't the first, sis. That's the sad reality, you know. So let's hope that we're contacted. Let's hope people know him. It's been awfully quiet because I actually tagged him in the post, and not a word from this man. So this is somebody that, you know, definitely believes that he's been outed. He's run for the hills. He's not saying anything. I'd wager that if I knew his Facebook, he probably would have taken all these pictures down if he had sense. And this is, some of them move like this. They just fall into a hole and hope that nobody will notice. And others come out fighting because, you know, those are the narcissistic ones. They've got massive egos and they need to be in control of things, so they have to lie. But thankfully, he's the former, and he's not going to come and terrorize you further. You know, he knows what he's done. And let's hope that his days are cut short in terms of these activities that he seems to enjoy with young children. You know, let's hope that you have broken that generational curse, not just for you and your girls, but full stop. You know, maybe hopefully, you know, some men are opportunists, some are really clinicalized pedophiles. Those ones can't stop, they don't know how. And others are shamed into stopping. You know, they take stock of themselves up over their little deviance going forward. So let's hope that let's hope it's that, sis. Let's hope it's that nobody else has to suffer. Thank you so much, Strength to Strength. That is the name that suits you most definitely. Most definitely. You know, I was saying to you when I spoke to you that you literally are just a couple of years older than my oldest. So I feel quite maternal towards you, sis. I really do. Like I want to just hug you and henpeck you. Yeah.
I appreciate that. I really do.
Thank you, sis. Blessed love.
You, guys. Thank you. Have a good evening, guys.
You too. Take care, my sister. Bye-bye. Yes, brothers and sisters. That was Strength to Strength. I mean, what a lovely girl. What a lovely, lovely, lovely girl. Beautiful girl, beautiful soul. You can just hear it. It just oozes from her. She's a lovely girl. And, you know, to overcome such horrors, you know, on her own, no motherly support, nobody. She's very blessed to have an excellent father. And this nasty piece of work, you're just a disgrace. I can't even look at you. I'm not putting your picture back up because I physically feel sick when I see this man. As I say, I don't normally bang on about aesthetics, but bloody hell, I mean, it just, you know, you're not winning, whoever you are, probably watching from your hole. You're not winning. Look at her. She's an absolute credit to our community. She's an excellent mother. She's overcome her demons. You are the demon. She's overcome you, and she's thriving. And what's going to happen to this individual? Like most of them, he is going to die a very painful death on his own. I've seen it so many times with men that abuse people around them, whether that's physically, sexually, whatever. You know, they end up riddled with cancer and nobody's looking about them. You know, and I declare and decree it for this individual here. Now, I was listening to a scripture earlier, a word actually, a message this week from a very excellent pastor that I just love this brother. And it's such a shame that the powers that be murdered him for his message. Not often they murder a Christian pastor, you know, apart from Martin Luther King. So you must know that this man had a revolutionary word. And he was talking about rage and anger and, you know, righteous anger. And how it was this slave teaching that we get about Christianity, that we must turn the other cheek and do all of this. He was breaking it down in the Bible where Christ didn't even say those things. That we know that this was something that was fed to us to keep us placid on the plantation, so we wouldn't rise up and just kill off all the slave masters and their families, which some people did. So they put things in the Bible and didn't allow us to read it for a couple of 100 years until they perfected the process of changing it, just so they could subjugate us and have us in a process of self-hatred. So, we've got to be very careful. It's okay to be under righteous indignation, righteous anger, especially if your assailant, your perpetrator, or whatever, has not repented, if they've shown no remorse whatsoever. Even the courts, when they sentence criminals, they give them more if they've shown no remorse, So the Bible, or people who want to get religious with it, or just on a moral basis, why would you forgive someone who is non-repentant? It makes no sense whatsoever, does it? It makes no sense. So I'm not one of these turn the other cheek type of people. If you have not shown atonement in any way, shape, or form, I know in my heart I'm very comfortable with not forgiving you. Very comfortable. So that's another conversation for another day in terms of, forgiveness, atonement, and all of these things. We're 36 upon the hour. I am literally shutting down. I'm struggling, brothers and sisters, to keep my eyes open. Yeah. I don't think we're going to get anyone joined in the chat tonight, Rima. Hurricane Toya tried. And put it out there one more time before I shut down, but literally when your speech is starting to you're just thinking, I can barely keep my eyes open. That's how I feel at the moment. I'm really, really depleted after last night's shenanigans, but I'm going to bed happy tonight. So I'm going to have a beautiful sleep don't have to get up and cook Sunday morning breakfast. Don't have to get up and cook no Sunday dinner tomorrow. Just me, myself, and I. I'm going to have a little meander around the shops, go and see my peoples over on the other side of town. And on Sunday, I'm going to have a lovely sauna, steam, and spa. That's what I'm going to do with my newfound freedom. It's very short-lived, but I'm going to thoroughly enjoy it. Let me tell you that. But first of all, I need to get a good night's sleep because I'm literally, my head's pounding and my eyes are sandy. They call it gritty. And they're foggy as well. I can sort of barely see the chats and stuff like that. So once again, thank you, my brothers and sisters. As always, it's been a pleasure to sit within community. And we all need community. Please, please, please. I haven't put the banners up for a while. Have not put them up for a while. There are the links. Look out for it sometime tomorrow. I ain't going to do it tonight. I'm literally going to go straight to my bed. I'm not even going to attempt to watch anything. I'm going straight to sleep. But tomorrow, if I don't remember and I don't put up the links for the fundraisers, please somebody DM me and remind me to do it tomorrow, because knowing me, it will fly straight out of my head come morning time. All right. So brothers and sisters, I will see you again next week. Thank you once again, community. Keep watch in the members lounge. There will be stuff getting uploaded in the next couple of days because I've got the space to do it. So I'm going to think about things. I promised that I was going to put a recording, which has been a bit difficult. I would have done that this week, actually, prior to Thursday. But it's an hour long and it's quite difficult to upload it onto a link so that I can then get it onto the members chat. So I'm going to attempt to do that. I'm going to go back through my DMs as well. I need a bit of an audit, making sure that I catch up with a few people that have been waiting for a while. There won't be a live Sunday, I'm afraid, Robert. I'm going to take some me time, like how my little one's away. So there won't be a live on Sunday. There may well be a live midweek, but I'll let people know. And if not, then definitely next Sunday we'll do something. But brothers and sisters, blessed love. Please be safe. Please keep your loved ones safe. Make sure that you make your salutations and your prayers, because we are living in very serious times. And I will see you again next week with Afua Speaks Community Conversations. Blessed love, my people. Good night.